The Blockhouse in Fort Kent was built in response to a boundary dispute between the British colony of New Brunswick and the U.S. state of Maine. In 1841, the exact boundary line between Maine and New Brunswick had not been settled. The U.S. claimed the boundary to be 100 miles further north, while Great Britain claimed the boundary to be 100 miles further south. In 1842, the Webster-Ashburton Treaty established the boundary line as following the St. John River. The Blockhouse was part of a complex which included a hospital, military officers' quarters, and a series of log cabins. The Blockhouse was built between 1839 and 1840 at the confluence of the Fish and the St. John Rivers. It was built and initially occupied by the civilian posse from the state of Maine. In 1841, the command of the fort was given to U.S. Army Captain Lucian Bonaparte Webster. This gave a military presence in the disputed boundary area. The fort was abandoned as a military post in 1843 after the signing of the Webster-Ashburton Treaty, which settled the boundary dispute. In 1857, the Blockhouse was purchased from the state of Maine by Mary Page, who used it as her home for the next 33 years. In 1891, the Blockhouse was sold to the state of Maine with the understanding that it would be protected as a historic site. Today, the Fort Kent Blockhouse is a National Historic Landmark and is listed in the National Register of Historic Places. The Blockhouse is also situated in a Maine State Park and is maintained by the Fort Kent Boy Scouts. Guided tours of the Blockhouse and the park are hosted by the Scouts. The Blockhouse contains displays of artifacts from the lumbering history of the area, as well as the history of the Aroostook War and the Webster-Ashburton Treaty. The Blockhouse is open to the public from Memorial Day to Labor Day, each day between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Come enjoy a visit and tour of this historic site.